ready to learn in the year of 2023. We're going to have some great classes coming up, including a full 6-month program that I think you're going to be super excited about. We'll be introducing that very, very soon. All right. And that's me on YouTube. Okay. A warm welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for being part of our Genius community. I'm going to ask you to bring your A game today. What are your best questions? What are your best questions about the Genius? We're also going to talk about New Year. We're going to talk about libraries, creating libraries. We're going to talk about your Quanta capsule. So if you'd like to volunteer today, see if you can find the email address for your Quanta capsule. So see if you can find the email address for your Quanta capsule, and I can send some frequencies to your Quanta capsule if you're one of our volunteers. If you don't have a Quanta capsule, you could download the trial from one of the app stores. So we want your questions. We're going to talk about libraries. We're going to talk about the Quanta capsule, and we're going to talk about the neuro remedy, creating and using affirmations read or spoken into the neuro remedy. So we're going to do that. And I think we'll have some fun here for our very first class of 2023. And let's go ahead and get that started here. Thank you so much for being part of our, like I said, our Genius community. We really appreciate you very, very much. We're going to get everything started in just one moment. And we're just still catching up here. And so send me your questions of things that you'd like for me to look at today, things that you'd like me to focus on. What are you curious about? Maybe it's the functional zones. Maybe it's the synergistics. Maybe it's the general overview. What would you like to see us go over today? It's your time, and you can invite anybody to come to this class at any time. So you can invite anybody to come to our class. It's free. It's been free for really years. We've done a Monday class for many, many months. Even during the holidays, we have our Monday class going on, and that's really rare in our quantum biofeedback world. We usually don't have as much high touch interaction. So I really appreciate you coming here and being part of our Genius community. We still have our 35% off libraries for one more day. That's today. So if you were real busy over the holidays and you kind of missed everything that was going on here, we still have the opportunity. You can get 35% off of the libraries. Library Discount Club members, you get an additional 20%. We sent you out a special coupon for that. Library Discount Club members, we sent you out a special bonus library today, the manifestation codes, which has Grabovoi numbers that really help you manifest your dreams, take a quantum leap towards your dream. And of course, we'll have that library available for the general public first. Library discount members get the first look at it, and they get that free part of their library discount club, plus the $97 coupon and 20% off of libraries all the time for as long as you are a member. So we're going to take your questions. We're going to go through different functions. I'm going to test a volunteer to find out what affirmations are resonating with you, and then we'll play them and record them into the neuro remedy, which we can also export to the Quanta capsule. We're going to talk about the new aura today. We're going to continue to talk about that. Those of you in the business membership, we did an extensive look at the auras. We're going to do some of that today on our weekly class. Did you get, who here has received or found the aura guide? Did you download the aura guide that we shared by email? Were you able to download the aura guide that we've come up with? We're going to continue to expand this aura guide that we have now. See if we can get it here. So we're going to continue to expand actually on this guide, and we'll share it as we update it. All right, there's a lot of great questions in here. I love it. Okay, make sure you're sending that. You can send the questions to everyone. Make sure you pop that button down. You share what you're saying in the chat with everyone so everybody can see the question. And there's our aura guide. So you may want to check it out. You know, the aura originally sort of dropped mysteriously with the new version, and it was like, oh my goodness, like we have a new aura function. And it took a few weeks to kind of catch up and really recognize what's going into that aura. So at the end of the day, I feel like that aura, you know, is really powerful. And it has some really rich colors that people are actually really enjoying. They're liking it. And so I want to teach you how to make the most of this aura guide, of the aura with the guide. And we'll continue to develop our understanding of this new aura. Unfortunately, it's just sort of like, okay, surprise, but it's not a bad surprise because the rich colors of the new aura are striking and they're very, very different. We don't have that kind of aura color in the old aura function. They're very, very rich and deep colors. So we're going to talk about those. Remember to join or check out, our website is geniusbiofeedback.com. Remember to join our podcast. Make sure you register for the podcast. The podcast for 2023 is going to be really amazing. Let's go to our events page because we're going to be having some incredible guests. We're even, Karen, thank you so much for being part of it. And we're working to get Christiane Northrup maybe to join us. Definitely, we're having Sherry Edwards on the 19th. So, oh gosh, I don't know why the podcast is not. We do have a podcast coming up this week. And so I'm going to have to ask my assistant maybe to correct that. We do have our podcast coming up this week, this Thursday. So definitely register and we'll change it so that the date goes this Thursday. Somebody did this wrong on the events calendar. So we'll definitely be broadcasting on Thursday at 6:30. And then on the 19th, we're going to be joined by Sherry Edwards. So we'll be joined by Sherry Edwards on the 19th. And then we'll be joined by Greg Prescott from In 5D, if you've ever watched any videos on In 5D, on the 26th. And we're working on other guests. It's going to continue to develop. We talk a lot about COVID-19, about the jab, what it is, how it came to be. And we're able to talk more comfortably because we broadcast we record it privately, and then we broadcast it to rumble.com, where you can find our Genius channel. So we have a lot coming up, a lot of new classes, a lot of new opportunities to learn how to utilize the Genius. And you guys have brought your A game today, which is great. And we're going to go over your questions. Let's talk about the aura function, the new aura function. And then we'll look at the Genius with the new aura function. We're going to need a volunteer, and then I'm going to go through your questions. So keep your questions coming. They're fantastic. See if we can zoom in here and fix this. Okay, the new aura function is, we call it affectionately the egg aura function. The advantage is that it has some rich, beautiful colors. That the advantage is that it kind of really wows your client. When your client sees these pictures, and I do recommend that you basically download the before picture, you download the after picture, email it to yourself, and then put them side by side, and then make that into a report that you send to your client. If you don't want to do that, then at least make sure that you send it by email and that you put the subject line, your before aura, and then the second one would be you put the subject line, your after aura. So if you're too tight for time, you could do it that way. We'll talk a little bit about the report, also that quick report that's in the Genius that can be really helpful. For now, we're just talking about the aura. The basic concept with the aura is to show people that something has happened during their session. They weren't just sitting there like a lump of clay, that things are happening within their aura. Now, the little secret or look behind the door to see what's going on is that it doesn't rescan them or retest them in real time. It is a predictive algorithm that says if you run these frequencies, it's very likely that this person will look like this, their aura will appear like this. Now, when some people hear that, they think, it's just a prediction, but everybody has patterns. But Jenny, you're fine. If you want to volunteer, a warm welcome to you. Thank you for being here. So Jenny, we haven't had a chance to really connect. Absolutely put your date of birth so that we can work on you, your aura, and find some affirmations for you. Okay, so yeah, so with the auras, we want to be really starting to talk to people about what they mean, help them to understand what is going on. And so we can speak to them with this before and after scenario. Now, everybody has patterns. They have all types of different patterns. And if you observe somebody over the course of a week, you really could get to know their patterns, their sort of their waveform. And that's what the Genius does in a very short amount of time. It's going to be before and after. If you have run X frequency, X, Y, and Z frequency for this amount of time, then we're going to predict that the aura will look like this. But it's very close to, in my experience, what it probably would have looked like. So you can sort of determine that for yourself. But people love to see the before and after. And this is turning out to be a great function. It's a nice upgrade. With the Genius, once you've paid for the Genius, it is paid for. And then as long as you have the Genius, now remember, we have people who have had the Genius for years, and they were back, now we're on like 16 point something, almost 17, and they were back at like 1. And so we've really upgraded it so much since that time, and every single person has gotten the upgrade. And that's really different from other mobile quantum biofeedback applications where they charge you, monthly fee. And if you don't pay the monthly fee, then all the lights go off. So the new Genius, we're looking for a before and after, and we're looking to explore the color and the nature of the rings, but also how closed are they? How defined are they? Are they fuzzy or are they crisp? Do they have bright colors like a bright blue or a bright purple, which you're mostly seeing at the end? Or do they have a gray or a brown hue to them? So in the beginning, you're very likely to see something that looks like this aura. So this aura has a lot of brown, very, very fuzzy. And also this part is not very well defined at the top. You've got this missing definition of the boundaries, and that's energy leaking from the field. Let's talk about a couple of other things. You can also have, this came out better in this particular one, this is larger. We can also have something called a mixed color ring. And so, okay, Jenny, we're going to work with you. Fantastic. And I'm glad you guys downloaded the aura. Fantastic. We'll go ahead and look at your questions. Yeah, keep your questions coming. All right, you're going to see rings that maybe are partially filled in with color. So see this one right here. This one wants to be sort of this more of this green, but sort of missing a color. So it's sort of missing. So this would be a low vital force. This would be not in alignment with that particular chakra that's represented by the color. And we do have colors on this guide that you can look at, the physical blockages and the emotional blockages related to that color or that chakra. Okay, so again, this is a good one here. This shows how we're missing the boundary of the rings. So see, especially that outer sort of orange green ring, right? You see how the orange, yellow, and purple rings are clearly defined except at the top. In this case, the leaking is the leaking of energy from the biofield. You leak energy when you're worried about someone, or if you're really like angry or upset at somebody, you're sort of sending them all of your energy and you're leaking energy. It could also be if you have some type of a toxic process going on, or some type of an illness is you're trying to fight it or heal from it. These can all cause leaking from the field. To assist a person with this leaking, you can consider running frequencies like the Bach flower essences, emotions, maybe even spiritual protection, or solfeggio frequencies. Something weird going on my keyboard. Okay, so you could also look at the kidney meridian. So when somebody's losing energy, that could be an adrenal issue, or it could also be the kidney yin is kidney yin deficiency. And so check out the kidney meridian. And the kidney meridian is always a really powerful one to work on someone for rejuvenation, for regeneration. So that can be something sort of in your back pocket. Even if the kidney meridian is not red or blue, you can still go within the kidney meridian and find the particular spots, the particular points to work on. You will find points to work on and support. Another similar meridian to the kidney meridian is the conception vessel meridian. So that's another one you can sort of keep in your back pocket. How do I help people to feel rejuvenated, to feel refreshed, to feel a sense of regeneration? I can make sure that I do a quick balance or include the reds and the blues from the kidney meridian or the conception vessel. All right, now what is the color at the center of the aura? So the color at the center, the inner layer, is going to be, that is the theme that the whole case is going to center around. So something about that particular chakra is of interest, okay? The color will be related to the chakra as well as the emotions, physical blocks that may be connected to the chakra and the color. This can inform libraries that you may choose to work with during the session. So in addition to being something that you show to people, like this is the before and this is the after, it can also be something where you can say, wow, I see this particular color, so therefore I'm going to choose these libraries to work on. That's another way to use the aura. So I see all this brown around the edges. That means there's probably a lot of blocked emotion or sharp emotion or suppressed emotion. So something about that. I'm going to maybe work on emotions. And this brown could also be related to the digestive system, but it's probably a combination of both: digestion, blocked, suppressed emotions. And then we see the pink in the middle. So pink, and this is a very bright pink. So this person's vital force is rather strong coming through even in the beginning. And they're probably very much like a spiritual aspirant. There's something that they're doing that they're very open in their crown chakra. So we want to ask them about that, draw them out. You could also write down all the colors that you see, because you do also see blue. You do also see sort of a greenish yellow. Again, that green, yellow, brown, that could be liver, gallbladder. But also when you have liver, gallbladder, you usually have a lot of resentment, a lot of anger, if that is blocked in some way. And it could be either way. It could be the emotion or it could be the body blockage. And the body blockage could result in the emotion. Like if somebody's gallbladder, liver is really overtaxed due to diet or whatever, then they probably are also find themselves to be very angry a lot of the time. When you talk to them, they're just very like grouchy. So that, that could be part of it. So, all right, in this case, the main issue is in the spiritual realm and related to the seventh chakra. The spirit is very strong and open, but is presenting itself as the main theme or focus for the case. So this person might be very open in their seventh chakra, but very ungrounded. So they really need the support in the first, second, and third chakra. The brown ring around the outside is very typical of what we see at the beginning of a session. You are looking for this to be cleared. The brown ring most likely represents held emotions that are ready to be released. Now you can compare the shade of colors. For example, we can take this pink and compare it to this pink. Very, very different, right? So you can learn. You probably want to keep screenshots of the different auras in your, maybe it's on your iPad or on your phone. Keep those aura pictures so that you can look at them just so you understand your whole population. You could compare one aura to the other. So in the example below, the ring is also pink. However, it is a different shade, meaning the inner ring, but there's an outer pink, which is even still not as strong as this one coming through. This one is muted and not as vibrant. So this could mean like a subdued person, their nature, their constitution, but also it could be just their vital force is not as strong. It's not as strongly coming through. So there may be adrenal fatigue or something else going on, or kidney yin deficiency. Just they're out of their reserves. We could check kidney meridian. We could check conception vessel. This can indicate a weaker vital force or some blockage in the seventh chakra. The ring around it is quite bright and could indicate a potential opening in the seventh chakra. For this case, we would focus on solfeggio frequencies in order to treat on that seventh chakra level, that very high vibrational level. We might use essential oils and affirmations as a way to continue the spiritual expansion and bring up the vibratory force. So the transformed aura or the after aura should show a clearing out of the gray, the black, or the brown rings. You should generally see more vibrant colors like real bright blues, bright greens, bright pinks, and the bright purple. Typical colors seen in the after aura are blue, purple, pink, but other colors may be seen as well. I would say green too. All right, so I'm on board. I think as we better learn the interpretation, the meaning of these auras, I think it's a fabulous functionality in the genius. And I think we just need to talk more about it and continue to expand our conversation. So I'll be expanding on this guide, adding more pictures and more meaning to it. There's also a chart down below so that you can look at the core meaning related to the color, the organs or the glands, which again might inform which libraries you want to work with for that person. So keep a notepad for your client so you can write down ideas. Oh, I saw this, and don't be surprised when you write those things down. Then when you test in the system overview, you're going to see very similar things when you go to today's stress, when you go to body systems, you start to see things that echo what you see in the aura function. So we've got physical blocks, emotional blocks, and we've got all the colors being shown here. We couldn't quite get the right purple because of pages, but anyway, that is the aura guide. And the aura guide, I think it's actually on the website. If you look at the blog, I think we've posted it there. We posted it in Facebook. We posted it in the Genius Community Connect. If you're not a part of that, you can request to be part of that by sending a message to support@geniusbiofeedback.com. And thank you, Sophie, for reposting the guide. I truly appreciate it. All right, let's go ahead and get Jenny all set up because she has volunteered. And so then we can go into starting a session as a way to talk more about the answers to your questions. Please keep posting your questions into the chat. I will go back to the beginning and I will start reading the questions in just a moment. So Tracy, looks like you have some excellent questions. Margaret, Rachel, looks like you guys all have some excellent questions. So I will go in and answer them shortly. In just a moment, I'll ask Jenny to come up as a panelist in just a second here. So let me just get everything ready. And thank you so much, everybody, for showing up. Happy New Year, everyone. And thank you for your Happy New Year greetings in the chat to not just me, but everybody on here. Thank you so much. We have such a wonderful, passionate community. And we were on New Year's Eve. You can watch that on my YouTube channel. And we did actually a 3-hour class, but a lot of it was really summing up how the genius fits into what's happening now with humanity and how you can utilize it to your very best advantage. So you may want to check out my YouTube channel and the New Year's Eve stream that I did, even if you just catch the first 30 minutes where I really talked about the genius and how important it is for this like sort of ascending energy of mankind or humankind, and how important it is, and how you can add to our matrix, our reclaimed matrix, I guess, not the old matrix, to our collective consciousness. We are a series of all of our collective thoughts, and it's the powers that be have been fighting for everybody. They've been fighting for their eyeballs, right? They're to give them information, which leads to their perception, which leads to behavior. And actually, we, with our thoughts, by changing our thoughts, can contribute to, not instead of the matrix, I'll call it the web, sort of the web of our collective thoughts. When we're worried and we're fearful, we're continuing to load up into our collective consciousness a lot of low vibrational thoughts. And certain powers that be want to shift things so that we keep that whole mass, our whole web of consciousness, in a very negative, low trajectory. But every time you think a thought, you think a more positive thought, you think a thought that's very intelligent and informed by the truth of who we are, then you are contributing to that collective consciousness, which is going to have a momentum of bringing us, into the light, into a different place, into a place that we really want to be. And I talked a lot about that on the New Year's stream. So let's invite Jenny to join us here. Remember to join us on the podcast on Thursday. There is a podcast on Thursday night. So I apologize that something is wrong on the scheduling, but we will definitely correct that. And congratulations to a lot of people who got their genius over the holidays. Welcome to our genius community. You're in good company. Just a lot of people have been using it for a long time, and they still come back to these classes to learn more and continue to improve and learn new use cases for using the genius. So thank you for continuing to be a part of our either new community or our long-term community. We certainly value you and appreciate you very, very much. And it's fun. It's so fun. It's such a passionate and excited community. So Jenny, hello and welcome.
Hi, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining today. And thank you for being part of our Genius community.
Thank you. I'm glad I made it on, actually. That was last minute.
And we've been trying to connect for so long. So it's really, really cool to put name, face, and to get to connect with you live here.
Yeah, I know.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, tell us any sort of discoveries since you've been using your Genius?
No, I'm still playing with it. I'm loving it. Actually,
Sure.
I'm using it on a few friends, and yeah, they're loving it as well. So just still playing with it, actually.
Well, you have a wonderful little mini community in Scotland, right? With Kirsty and a few other people.
Yeah, we do actually. There's so many more joining as well. It's like there's a big change. I can really feel it happening here actually with health. People's minds.
That's really exciting. There's an opening. There's an opening of the energy, which is very exciting and wonderful. So that's really cool. And Karen McDonald, thank you so much for, introducing Kirsty and some of our other friends in Scotland. We really appreciate that. Appreciate you. And Jenny, appreciate you so much. You have a real background in some of these things that we talk about, like raw food and David Wolf. You're really familiar with those.
Yeah. I started my raw food journey maybe about 10 years ago, and met David Wolf a few times, been to a lot of his talks and his course, etc. So yeah, that totally changed my life actually.
Wonderful. Well, do you have some idea about what you want to manifest? Anything you want to work on into the new year?
Definitely financial stuff. Changing.
Financial. Okay, cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Fantastic. Okay, good. We'll run some frequencies for that. Does that sound okay?
Sounds good. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, you did get a Quanta capsule credit. You may have assigned it to a client. Did you, by a chance, assign a Quanta capsule to yourself?
No, I've still got that. Actually, I've not used it yet. Yeah.
You, what I'll do is I'll sort of hold the tray, if we can, hold the tray for you. And then we'll send you some information about how to get it activated so that if you want to, you could receive this in your Quanta capsule.
Perfect.
All right. For right now, I'm going to have you say your name and the AEIOU, all that goodness, so we can get your voice recorded. In order to do that, I'll cue you. So you know what to say for the voice recording?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll start recording then in 3, 2, 1. I'm recording.
Jennifer White, AEIOU, 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 AEIOU.
Absolutely perfect. And I love how different people say all the vowels from all over the world. It's really fun. So awesome. All right. So we're going to take care of that. And then we're going to pick the frequencies. Have you utilized the Neuro Remedy? Do you know what the Neuro Remedy is?
I haven't actually, no.
Okay. So we're going to have some fun showing you some new functionalities. Have you thought about using the Genius as a way to use affirmations, as a way to find the most beneficial affirmations for today?
I have, but I haven't gone there yet. It's something I've been meaning to do.
Okay, fantastic. So we're going to show you some new fun stuff today. And so that'll be great. All right. Do you have any questions that you've been wanting to ask that we have not yet been able to answer for you?
Regarding the aura, no, I think you've gone through the new guide actually helps a lot, because it's something that, I've ran the auras with people I'm doing the scans with, but I keep saying I'm not really sure how to interpret it yet. So this really helps actually.
Oh, good. Okay, fantastic. Well, it could be actually about anything. If there was anything that you in a pinch wanted to ask now, you can always ask any questions at any time, but just while you're here, if there was any questions, or if not, then that's totally fine too.
Nothing that comes to mind actually.
I totally know that you feel on the spot. You're like, oh, yeah. I had all these questions and now I can't even think of one. I totally understand that. All right. Well, I am going to let you then sit back, relax, and enjoy. I'm going to go through your scan. I'm also going to answer a lot of questions that have been in the chat. And then I'm going to come back and talk with you a bit about what we're finding. Does that sound okay?
Great. Thanks, Ariel.
Okay, thank you so much. So fun. Yay. I'm glad we got to be connected and talk today. That's wonderful. Okay, starting out the new year in a wonderful way. Now we're going to look at the genius on the screen. I'm still not totally sure that we've got that Zoom. If you remember, the developer, Ryan, said he was contacting the Zoom engineers because we had this strange, weird integration of the microphone with the genius on Zoom. It was so strange. But anyway, now we're just doing a workaround until we figure all of that out. Let's have some fun and look at the aura and see what the beginning aura can tell us. And then we're going to go to some of your wonderful, juicy, fantastic questions that you're asking here. And again, Happy New Year to everybody. Welcome and thank you. You know, technically today's still a holiday, but I love it. Everybody's like, I'm ready. I'm ready to learn more about my genius. Just serve it up to me. I'm ready to move forward and even enhance my practice more. Okay, beautiful aura. So let's see what we've got. We've got some purple in the middle, and I love all the rich colors. Like there's always another shade, you know? So purple, we know, is going to be about that pineal gland. It could be about sleep. It could be about hormones. It could be about spiritual awakening, a lot of things, a nice solid color there. Then we've got the heart chakra sort of in there too. Then we've got some solar plexus digestion, and we've got this very light pink energy surrounding the aura on the outside. That's going to be seventh chakra energy. Overall, we see a lot of fuzziness on the outside. So this is going to be maybe it's after the holidays. I'm still trying to get my wits about me a little bit, trying to get grounded, trying to just sort of figure things out. So we may feel a little bit of like little maybe tired, a little brain fog, just trying to get back into the swing of things. These could be things that your client is experiencing. Also, definitely a good time for a little bit of digestive frequencies to run through here. And we should see this whole area begin to clear up. A lot of those browns and just the fuzziness should start to leave. The browns should start to leave. Now they're not going to stay the same color. You are going to get new colors, but the nature of the new colors that you see are going to be they're going to tend to be brighter. They're not going to tend to have the grayness. They're not going to have the fuzziness. They usually get sharper. And we do see that up here, here's some of that, the energy we talked about leaking. And so again, we can just give support to it. You know, I may go to the kidney meridian and the conception vessel meridian and include that as well. Okay, so we'll go to the meridians and we'll talk for a little while here because we'll look at some of those meridians. And we do see some red and some blue. So there is a little sign of some deficiency. I don't like to say deficiency, but depletion here. So we want to give energy back. We want to fill up the reserves for her today. And so, yeah, there's conception vessel, and kidney meridian is not so much, but look, we have no red up here. So we're more on that sort of, I need to build up my reserves. I need a really good vacation somewhere with some beaches and water and warm weather. Is sort of the beach vibe, right? We're getting some, I need a beach vibe, I guess is what we could say here. Let's go ahead and look at some of the questions that are coming through. And so Tracy says, what if you don't get a full rectification of 100%? All right, well, that's a really good question. Let's go ahead and let's go to the conception vessel, and let's go right here to the conception vessel. And let's choose the quick balance. The quick balance is a function that allows us to run the reds and the blues on the page without having to place any of them into the tray. So now the reds and the blues for the conception vessel, whoa, and that conception vessel, look at that 12 and 16 really low. So these, you can see where the conception vessel is, where it runs through it's one of the main meridians that runs through the midsection of the front of the body. And it's all about hormones. It's about digestion. It's about really like essential functionalities. And so let's go ahead. We're going to run this on quick balance for 1 minute. And part of the therapy that you're getting is the sound of the tones. When you're close to the iPad, it's the generation of the actual frequency. It can also be sent in through subspace so people can receive it remotely. And it's also the visual algorithm. So you can watch that string, the wonderful visual that you're seeing there. And that's part of the therapy, part of receiving the energy from the genius. Now, we never have to go to 100%, and 100% is not the goal. The goal is 40% or more. We simply want to see that the person is making, we'll fix that in a minute, is making some type of progress with their genius. That's all that we're really looking for. And so we only need to see 40% or more before we move on to another set of frequencies. I was advised by a doctor that if I took normal medicine for a fungal infection, it would come back stronger. Is it the same with the genius? So this is great. We went to 67%. So Jenny, you're very receptive to the frequencies. Also seems like you're well hydrated. You're taking in the frequencies very well, and it gives you that average percent of rectification. So we don't have to go further to balance the conception vessel reds and blues at this time. We can move on to other things. So that being said, let's go ahead and just for fun, let's look at the kidney meridian. Now it's not coming up low or high in relation to the other meridians. Other meridians are showing a priority, but I still like to balance it, right? Because of that low reserve energy, possible kidney yin deficiency. So we'll balance it here. And let's ask this question again. I was advised by a doctor that if I took a normal medicine for a fungal infection, it would come back stronger. There's a lot to unpack there, and probably not enough time to unpack it. But in a nutshell, it really depends on what medication you're talking about. If you are killing off the fungal infection, but you haven't changed anything else, then it's very likely the fungal infection could come back. Fungus grows. Now, let's put the fungus aside for a moment. When a tree falls in the forest and the tree is no longer healthy, you will see moss begin to grow all over the tree, which tries to decompose the tree and remove it and break it down and remove it. When you have all types of poor food combining, processed food, maybe GMO food, you're very stressed out, angry when you ate it, your liver needed cleansing, whatever it is, it didn't digest properly, then this becomes sort of this place where, similar to the moss on the tree, get the self-composting mechanism, and that is fungus. So you must change the terrain in order to clear the fungus. To just follow the fungus is pure folly. If it's really problematic, you'll get some relief for a while, but then it will come back because it's the body is actually trying to heal itself through growing the fungus. It's like a cleanup mechanism within the body. Now, the genius is completely different. When you're running quantum biofeedback, it's working on mind, body, spirit. It's working on the deep level. It's not at all like a medication. And so it's going to really work on the emotions that cause you to eat the wrong foods. It's going to work on the terrain. It's going to work in a very multifactorial way. Even if you run a medicine, which I don't recommend, if you ran a remedy, usnea or oil of oregano as a remedy on the genius, it would not have a suppressive effect, nor would the herb. But so no, it works in a completely different way. Can we search for a particular keyword in the libraries? For example, I want to find glaucoma. Yeah, that will show that functionality. Oh, I'm running it much longer than it needs to. So I meant to only run it for a minute, and I had to adjust this to 1 minute. So we'll bypass that for now. But let's go to the custom libraries. So if we go here, we'll need a minute to scan them so we can talk. Yeah, there are two search functions, and I was going on and on about how the developer had not changed this, but actually think he did change it to the desired default, which is libraries. So we'll talk about the two in just a moment. Number 3, Tracy came with some really good questions. Is the only way that you can tell how long to run something from the percentage, the rectification percentage down at the bottom, depending on how long you set it for? No, you want to think of a typical session for a practitioner would be 15 minutes, get to know the person and to do an intake to find out what it is that they need. Then it would be like 15 minutes to kind of find the frequencies that you're going to be testing, right? 15 minutes then to run the frequency. So you've got 15 minutes that you're going to run frequencies. So within that, you could do just progressive insights. I'll show you how to do that. And then you just do a rescan the whole time. So if you did 3-minute intervals, then you can rescan, you could just run them for 15 minutes. while they're sitting there. If they're in your office or on a Zoom, you could show them an animation. Like you could show them the solfeggio tone animation from YouTube, something that they could watch, some type of sacred geometry, something they can look at. But whatever you do, you run the frequencies for 15 minutes, and then you basically follow up with them the 15 minutes at the end. If it's an hour session, you're going to be telling them what you're going to do next, what to expect, how to load up your quantum capsule if you're sending them quantum capsule. So it's sort of broken into these 4 15-minute intervals. So you only need 15 minutes to be the time that you're running frequencies. It's quality, not quantity. The biggest mistake for a nascent biofeedback practitioner is thinking longer amount of session means better results. And it couldn't be further from the truth. You just get the right frequencies for the 15-minute time slot. That's all that they need. Running more frequencies for a greater amount of time is just you try to convince yourself that that's going to do more for them, but it really doesn't. It's sort of like unnecessary. So the developer was very nice here. He changed this library, which I really appreciate. And it's ironic. Tracy's actually asking the opposite. So library means we're going to search for a particular library. So if we were doing this, we would just search for the vision libraries, and we could find, I think in the vision assessment, we have glaucoma somewhere in this cataracts. There's the glaucoma right there. So let's get the spotlight. Annotation, spotlight. Okay, so there's the glaucoma. So let's try it the other way. So now if we switch, I don't know about that back button. Okay, so we have to come back in here again. And now we go here. And that's still not right. Oh my goodness. All right, remain calm. All we need to do is go right here, and then we switch to all. And now we type in the word. So now it's going to look at every library and sub-library, sub-part of that library. So now we can find glaucoma. However, why is it now 56? I do think that that's something that is not correct. But anyway, then you could find glaucoma. And, well, I'm not sure about the glauterect. Is glauterect a translation of glaucoma? I thought that had to do with blood sugar. And then we have a radionics frequency for glaucoma as well. All right, so that's how you would find it. When I run the frequencies and retest, when I run the frequencies and then retest, do blue elements become red? I would have expected them to go green. Okay, it doesn't always work in the most logical way that you would expect them to. I want to do a search here, so I want to search for her. We're going to search for the library that we just issued as a bonus library, which is the manifestation codes. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we're going to work with these in just a moment. And these have the Grabovoi numbers on them. We'll probably go a little bit over time today, probably to 15 minutes past the hour. Because we got so many great questions here. So when I run the frequencies, and then I have things that are in blue. So things that are in blue tend to be more chronic. When you're looking at something like an affirmation, it typically means that the person, these are really strongly attracted to the person. So lower is more compressed, but it's also sort of more attracted to that person. There's more of an affinity with the lower blue numbers. And you can base your entire practice on low blue numbers because they're very, very significant, and they could help the person to progress faster. But I want to remind you of something called Herring's Law of Cure. So how many people know what Herring's Law of Cure is? You can let us know in the chat. It goes back to the basics of how the body heals. The body heals from the head down and from the inside of the body out. So that's part of why when somebody has psoriasis, eczema, all the dermatologists, they're going to look at the skin. Once in a naturopathic medical college, they summarized the job of a dermatologist, and they said the job of a dermatologist is that if something is dry, they will give you a type of a skin remedy in order to make it wet. And if you have something that's wet, they'll give you a skin remedy in order to make it become dry. So that's pretty funny. But they try to treat from the outside. but really you should treat from the inside. If you treat the liver, the digestion, a lot of times you're going to see things on the outside start to clear. Now, how does that relate to reds and blues? Because blue is much more chronic. It's much deeper. And so we expect things to go from a chronic state. They can even move into an acute state. So we would more expect things to go from blue to red and then into green yellow. There's never been a clear differentiation between green and yellow, as far as I know. If anybody knows differently, can tell me. But green and yellow are essentially the same. They're numbers that are sort of in the middle and in balance. If you think that the developer should change the color scheme to do a singular color in the middle, you certainly could recommend that. And perhaps he will clarify why he's chosen the greens and the yellows. I honestly don't know. So that is why you could, and we used to do this, a lot of this comparative testing. It would probably be something that you would do between sessions. So today we see this in the blue. Tomorrow when we test again, we'll see it in the red. It doesn't always work exactly like that, but that's the idea. Is it right that my aura gets gray once I have a frequency? The reason sometimes you see a gray aura as you're working through your session is because if things happen in peaks and valleys. So you kind of go through and it's like, oh, it's blue, it's purple, it looks amazing. And then you keep running frequencies. Well, now your body is ready to go back to dig deeper and peeling, to mix the metaphors, to peel a layer of the onion and to dive deeper. And so it's ready to go deeper. And now you might be going into a valley and sort of going into a low where you're getting into the grit of things. And so you might see some more gray and so forth. But in general, when we're doing shorter sessions, we should generally see things move from gray, brown, black to more bright colors. If it's not happening for you, then I would put some emotions or flower essences in there. Okay, things coming up here from our new library here that we'll be putting on the website. And this was the bonus library for Library Discount Club members. You should have received that already in your inbox. If not, you can contact us. When I come to obstacles to manifesting my plans, I can see the immediate solution. We're using Grabovoi numbers, and Grabovoi numbers are mysterious healing numbers. Numbers are like codes, and they are codes that can unlock the universe in some way when they're used skillfully or in a very specific way. And Grabovoi knew that these could be like unlock codes. These could be like codes to manifest certain things. So we combine them with the affirmation, which anybody can do that. We'll show you maybe a little bit about how to do that. I know that I can have anything I want, and I align myself with divine creative energy. Creativity flows easily as I gain clarity and courage to move towards my dreams. Let's see what some of the blue ones are here. My body is a wellspring of vitality. I have all the energy I need. And then there's a specific Grabovoi frequency for regeneration and rejuvenation of the body. I powerfully attract to me the most favorable circumstances possible for the manifestation of my dreams. My DNA is more filled with light than ever, which allows nearly instant manifestation of my wishes. Part of that is the planet itself is so filled with light. And as you work on yourself, what we've been through in the past almost 3 years now, if you can believe it, in the spiritual realm, they call it tapasya. Have you heard this term, tapasya? And we've been through spiritual practices. We've been through adversity, which has caused us, if you're going to survive and thrive, to evolve spiritually on some level. And you've all been through it. You're not the same person that you were 3 years ago. And sort of your 3 years of this going through this has been sort of like 50 years of spiritual growth. And as you move into that place, you're so much more filled with light. You're so much able to hold a higher vibration. And as such, your thoughts are now exponentially more powerful. As you're thinking the thoughts, they're going into manifestation much more quickly. So you want to be careful what your thoughts are, because whatever you're thinking, be careful what you wish for. Whatever you're wishing for or saying is going to come true is not only going to come true, but it's going to come true monumentally faster at lightning speed than it ever has before. that's going to be the gift that comes out of the great suffering in some ways that we've all had to endure, is as actually something very good on the other side of it. And this library is meant to be able to help you to tap into that. Okay, so we've gotten those. I'm going to switch this one and I'm going to go to the Breakthrough to Success library. And so let me see, this is a little confusing because now I think there's an error here because now I can't switch from one type of testing to the next. And I'm not complaining at all. I'm just noticing and observing that you'd have to go all the way out here, come back into custom libraries, and then reset everything to choose a new way of testing. So I'm just observing that. So if somebody wants to observe it and communicate it to the developer, then that's really cool. I can't really switch from libraries to all within the program unless I go back to system overview. So it's just an observation. Now we're going to go to Breakthrough to Success, and I'm going to choose, wow, look at that, clearing ancestral patterns. Well, let's look at that. So this is something that comes up, gets passed down through the ancestral line. So let's include those to clear them. I really just wanted to get to the affirmations. So Breakthrough to Success, clear the limiting belief. So we're going to look at this in just a moment. Not the limiting belief, sorry. I just wanted to get back to that. It's actually, we want to go to the supercharged affirmations. We could look at all of those, but we don't really have time to. Okay. In Progressive Insights, can I check off the specific selections on the right-hand side and only run those frequencies? Yes, you can. Let's look at that. So let's look at the top 3 here. My mind thinks with extremely high levels of creativity. So this is for Jenny. This is the ones that she was most attracted to today. I accept the highest and most vital experience of health in my body that cosmic law will allow for at this time. So she's really getting to that optimal state of wellness, optimal state of vitality. That's sort of a theme that's coming through. My DNA is completely healed, refreshed, renewed on every level. And then we go down to the blue ones. Remember, those blue ones are almost even more significant. My DNA evolves at this moment to give me the most positive experience of life and reverses the aging process. I accept the most joyous life that cosmic law will allow for me at this time. With every breath I breathe light into cells, and with every breath I breathe out toxins. So those are the ones that are coming up. Now we're going to go to Progressive Insights by clicking right here. And when we go to Progressive Insights, the question from Margaret was about, can I just choose the ones that I want? So we're going to get the highest frequencies. This is the ancestral patterns that are clearing. Let's just go with that. And so she wants to just choose maybe the top 10. You could choose the top 10. You could even just choose it this way, Margaret. Maybe you just want to choose those. So it's totally up to you. And then you can set the timer for what you want. So here we're actually just going to choose the high items. But yeah, you can choose any ones that you wish to choose. Okay. I've done the latest updates. If you have any issue, any technical issue, please refrain from putting them into the chat. And Carol, I think you're awesome, but just go ahead and send us a message, support@geniusbiofeedback.com. We're probably just going to send you to the developer. So if you want to contact Insight Health, then that's even better. You're welcome to do that, because we do all the training, we do all the explaining, but we really have no ability to clear a bug from the Genius. So it's better if you just go to the source, just let them know. What if the inner center layer is very small, small amount of color that appears around the neck area? I don't know. I'm going to have to look that one up. I haven't seen really small auras come up. Is it maybe because you're using it on your phone? One of the ways to do a 15-minute session is to set the timer like maybe for 5 minutes, and then you'll do like 3 rescans. So you could do a rescan here. When we rescan, it says, now that we've run those frequencies, let's go to a deeper level and show us now what are the most important ones that come up. Clearing out any cluttered spaces, I make room for light, and I'm like, expand my consciousness. Radiant light fills my being. And there's more ancestral stuff that's being cleared out, which is being seen, be seen but not heard. So speaking your truth. And that was up the ancestral line. I release the fears that have held me back. I now powerfully attract to me the most favorable circumstances. Prosperity. This is a good number for prosperity. Prosperity is flowing into my life. This is like instant manifestation of money, is that Grabovoi number, 714-273-21893. This is like 8675309. Remember? Oh, that's so funny. That's Jenny's number. Jenny, I got your number. So 714-273-21893. So that's your number. My body is a wellspring of vitality, of all the energy I need. 514-8123. So now these are the most, and what's really interesting here is these are being very, we have a whole bunch of frequencies in here, but all of a sudden in the second retest, these are the ones that are only the ones that are high. And so that those can be very, very significant. And so we run those, it says 5 minutes here, but we're going to just run it for 1 minute. It's just an example that if you were doing a 15 minutes of frequency for someone, that you could do it in 5-minute intervals and do several rescans, or you could do it in 3-minute intervals and do, why do you want to do a rescan? Because you want to find out each time what percolates to the top, what is significant. You want to take notes on that, because that's informing you and telling you patterns, information that you need to know about that person, what's showing up as the most important to them, what's the theme that's coming up. What if the aura is 80% color variations of green, bright green, then yellow green, then deep green, several layers, or just one? So you just want to have some themes, like bright green is the vital force coming through, and we might maybe elucidate that in some of the guides. Yellow green is typically a gallbladder, liver, is sort of this yellow like pea green. And then deep green, I don't really know, but it's some permutation of heart energy. So you want to just sort of like, if it's very muted green, then maybe there's an issue around circulatory or vessel harmonizing. This is so weird. It's something that happens between the communication between Zoom and the reflector. But that was a good bouncing. We're going to go back and look at that aura in just a second. Let's see if we can get the reflector back. All right. Is there anything specific you can think of for Bell's palsy? We have a Bell's palsy harmonizing library where we've considered everything to think about with Bell's palsy. So look on the library, on the website, geniusbiofeedback.com. So go to the website and you'll find a Bell's palsy library. And what we've done is we've looked up and researched everything to be considered for Bell's palsy. And so that's the best way to do it. Other things, you can look it up yourself, and you look and you write down all the things. The Mayo Clinic website is pretty reliable, and you just write down, oh, this has something to do with a virus. This has something to do with a nerve. This has something to do with inflammation. And then you could utilize all the libraries related to that, or you can get a library that sort of brings it all together. So let's see what this aura looks like. Oh my gosh, what a great opportunity. Thank you, Jenny, so much. What a great opportunity to work with this new aura function, because you can just see the difference coming through. She's really, really receptive to the frequencies. So you've got this bright, we're going to compare them in just a second, but you just got this really beautiful bright purple coming through. You've got sort of, in a way, the green that Christy was talking about. And then we've got this really bright purple energy. I'd say it's almost purple pink. So I'd say it's 6th and 7th chakra. And then all of that heart energy, all of that healing energy, very, very strongly coming through. I think it was good that we worked on the meridians. I think try those quick balances on the meridians for a few minutes. I think it's going to be worth your time. Quick balance them for 1 to 3 minutes. Get that kidney meridian up, get the conception vessel. I think it makes a big difference. Let's look at our before and after. So to do that, we go to the pictures here. And what happened? This was, I meant to take a picture to show this, but I'm just going to delete it for now, just so we can do this more easily. Okay, before, this is such a great example. Before and after. Before, look at the gray, and after. So look how the gray is only at the outer edges now. We haven't really sewn this up at the top. And so maybe we want to run some more kidney meridians, some more conception vessel, but wow. And it was only for a couple of minutes. That vital force really comes through, that green comes through. We've moved the yellow to the outer edges. So that could be, digestive healing. But you could really just see the difference. This is what you want to show your client. Like, look at the difference when we started to where you are now. I mean, what does that? It's like the sun came out, it's like the clouds went away and the sun came out. So let's go ahead and find Jenny here. Jenny, give us your thoughts. What are your thoughts as we've been going through frequencies for you? Do you have any ideas, feedback? How are you doing?
Hi. Yeah, that was really interesting. Actually, it looks great now. And a lot of the things that came up, for example, needing a holiday, etc., were so true.
Good. No, that's great. That's fantastic. And did any of the affirmations resonate?
Totally resonated. Yep. I'm in the middle of clearing out this room, actually, decluttering. And yeah, I feel like a few of the affirmations that came up, there's a real turning point in my life right, now compared to the past few years. So yeah.
Oh, lovely. Oh my gosh, so wonderful. Oh, I'm glad that you joined and I'm glad that you volunteered today.
Thank you for doing that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, we'll let you go here and just enjoy the rest of the class, and hopefully we'll talk soon. Hopefully we'll connect and we get to talk soon. So thank you again. Really, really cool. Just such a great way to look at the aura function today. Let's get a few more of these questions. Is there any way to get pictures into the genius like is done when we take a picture of a person being worked on? Is there any way to get pictures into the genius like is done when we take a picture of a person being worked on? I know we get sound into the genius, but what about images? I'm not sure what you're asking. I mean, one way to do that is you could imprint the picture from the remedy plate. So you could just imprint the picture of the person, put the picture of the person on the remedy plate. You could imprint it and just run that frequency. I assume that's what you're asking. I'm going to assume that the fact that you put the picture in the beginning is not lost on you. You're asking about something different. Hello to Veronica, and Veronica, big congratulations for you getting your genius. Seems like you know Jenny, or maybe you guys are just making new friends. When in progressive insights, is it okay to delete the lows as items go too low? I've been doing it in the last couple of scans on myself, and I thought it would be better to ask. I didn't even know you could do that. So let's just look at these here. So you could just, oh, there you go. I don't know why you would want to do that, because you could just as easily not check them. But anyway, all that being said, so Wendy is saying, can you just delete these? Yes. If you wanted to, you could delete them. For example, if you did not want them to be taken into account in the rescan. But I don't know why you would not want to do that, because sometimes a low item can become a high priority, but it's completely up to you. There certainly is no right or wrong here. You certainly could delete these, and then it will scan a smaller amount of frequencies. Now it'll still give you high, medium, and low when you do the next rescan, but yeah, you could, there's really no wrong way to use the genius. It's a lot of it is your own discovery, and we've really been really open to that. We give people this certain ideas and parameters for using the genius in the best way we can explain it, but you may find your own way to do that. How did you, okay, let's just get a couple of other ones here because we're not going to be able to answer all of them here. Can I run just one library to infuse a piece of jewelry? Sure, absolutely. Okay. What are the boxes on the left? They're called functional zones. That's the functional zones aspect. And you can you can read about the functional zones in the mastery guide. If you don't have the mastery guide, you can go to Amazon and just look for my store, my Kindle books on Amazon. You can get a paperback version of it on Amazon, or you get the physical version of it there. It's just another option. Basically, it's included in a lot of our packages, but if you didn't get your genius from me here and you want to, you could go to Amazon and check it out there. If you run 3 5-minute scans on a client in a single session, what would you send the client via the quantum capsule? Just the last one. You just do the last one, Sophie. It's a good question. The last one is, but you could argue, is the most significant one, because you've sort of boiled off the superficial and you've gone to the deeper level. And so there's absolutely no downside. In fact, I think it's more appropriate to send in the quantum capsule, the very final scan that you have for that person, either the high, medium, or all of them high, medium, and low, although that would have been the same. There's nothing actually different about that because you're just shuffling them in progressive insight. So you still have the same frequencies. If you send all of them, it doesn't even matter. Okay. There is the neuro remedy for sound. I wanted to put a picture of a symbol on the Genius. I can do it with the remedy plate. I just said that. So yeah, I just said the same thing. Yeah. So go ahead, do it with a remedy plate. Or maybe you're just repeating back to me for verification. So yes, I mean, I don't know how well it works because the Genius was not really designed for the neuro remedy to work with the imprint. I think it's more for a library. You have a better chance where you can put the actual person's picture and then do the import function in the library, and it's going to import the energetics, and pictures have a lot of energy in them. So it's going to import the energetics of whatever's on the remedy plate. So you can try it. I think people have asked that question before. You can certainly try it and just get an intuition if it works. But we haven't designed it to work in that way. We designed it to work with sound. How much percentage-wise do you feel studying a client scan analysis without sending any frequencies at all can have on a client? I would guess it would vary from one person to another, but basically it would be from little to 25%. How much percentage-wise do you feel studying a client scan analysis without sending frequencies at all can have on a client? I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure. Rosemary, I kind of understand the question, but it wouldn't be my main vehicle towards having an effect on the person. I wouldn't anticipate it would have a significant effect on the person. And why would I not run frequencies when I have the Genius right there and I can run frequencies? I think that the crown is white or amethyst. This is really just subject to everybody's interpretation. So Janine, if you want to go with the crown being white, or is amethyst a color or is it a gemstone? You're saying like the purple amethyst color? You're certainly welcome to interpret it that way. The exact name of the Grabovoi, what is the exact name of with the Grabovoi figures? Now we're starting to put Grabovoi into a lot of different libraries, but the one that we were showcasing right there is called the Manifestation Codes. It's a new library and it's not yet available, but it will be this afternoon. What we do is we send it out to our Library Discount Club members first. Jeez, how do you make that go away? And we send it out to the Library Discount Club members first, and then we go from there. And so the one we had, though, just to show it to you, goodness me, there's way too many things to click on here. I think we could argue with the developer that there's no longer a need for the straight drop down of the chevrons, but anyway, that's for another day to talk about that. So let's just go ahead and type in manifestation. The one we were using is the specific name is called Manifestation Codes, Quantum Leap Towards My Dreams. Manifestation Codes, Quantum Leap Toward My Dreams. If you're a Library Discount Club member, you already have that. We give it to you for free. We'll also put it on the website shortly after this class today. Okay, Rachel, you can send your question to me. Some libraries are different. They're different from every library. It's different to answer your question. How do you put the image into the library? You get the image, you print out the image, and you put it on the remedy plate. Heidi Marie says, does the patient scan need to be rectified 40% before we send the quantum capsule to them? Not at all. The rectification percentage is just a guide. It's really just a guide or a suggestion. You can send information to the quantum capsule at any time, frequencies to the quantum capsule. It doesn't have to be any rectification. You can just do it. Okay, I think if you run the frequency of the neuro remedy and hook it up to your remedy plate, you can imprint something, whether a bracelet or a piece of jewelry. The frequencies, if running, should be imprintable. That's imprinting it with the neuro remedy. She's going the other way. She wants to bring the picture into the neuro remedy. So So it's totally up to the person. Okay. So this has been a class really about affirmations. We didn't get to the neuro remedy, so we'll do it next week, but it's been really a summary of the aura function. We were talking about different affirmations and looking at, I think one of the most compelling things to do for a client is to find affirmations for them, because they understand what affirmations are. It's not medical, and then you're never practicing medicine without a license. And they love it. They love to see which affirmations were drawn to them. And it really helps you to understand that person. When you read back to them what their affirmations are, and they're just like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I've been trying to focus on. They really feel deeply understood, and feeling deeply understood is a way to build rapport with the person. They also gain faith that the genius is accurately reflecting through their voice and picture what is going on with them. So really, really cool. We're going to have a lot of new programs coming up to really help you to utilize the genius in the very best way, and to help you to find true health freedom, to empower you to understand how to make your body more resilient and healthful. We definitely are having a podcast on Thursday. I hang out with Karen McDonald. We talk about the latest events sort of going on with the, this thing that people got in their arm, but also just the state of, what things are, viruses, and then things like medicinal mushrooms, greens, chlorophyll, alfalfa, EMF protection, all types of things. We have really been showcasing the new terahertz technology, and we're going to have more classes on this as well, separate from the podcast. So thank you, everyone, for being part of our Genius Biofeedback community. We'll see you back real soon. If you want to communicate with me, just send me a message, Ariel at geniusbiofeedback.com, Ariel at geniusbiofeedback.com. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Again, Happy New Year, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye for now.